more entrepreneurship in this city. Those, you know, one person hiring 2 more people, the 5-person, 10-person businesses don't get a lot of time and attention on the front page of a variety of papers. You get enough of them going, and you know, you make something happen. So, I mean, I don't, for a moment in this conversation, want to be singularly focused, but there are a couple of big sectors that really do drive activity. Hospitality is one, but education, medicine, and are a number of others. And
I'll also throw in, we're not devoid of manufacturing.
No.
There's you know, it's God knows it's not like it was 50 years ago, but there's a lot of specialty manufacturing going on, and you know, one of the, I think, great successful initiatives at the public sector through the state and through a lot of the friends of the city was with Aqua Shipyard. You know, I mean, that's heavy manufacture. That's like the majorly real thing. But there's a lot of stuff that also fits into that kind of manufacturing world that we don't typically think of as big-time manufacturing, big mass product manufacturing. A lot of stuff in food services, for example, that you know about.
Tofu.
Right? Huh? Tofu, right.
Largest tofu manufacturer,
one of the premier tofu manufacturers in the United States, at least on the East Coast, is sitting here at the corner of 7th and Fairmount.
What's that?
What's
tofu?
What's the business?
Chris doesn't know about that.
You can't put it in a cheesesteak.
Some people do.
I've seen you eat that.
I like tofu. Just for the business that's here, I like it. I enjoy the product.
But you know, it's an expanding business. They need our help in figuring out how to grow. They're constrained. Right across the street is a pretty serious millworking shop. And these things are out there. And when you've heard Gary Starr talk about
I know.
because you didn't mention it in any of the press conferences yet, so I was waiting.
Gary's helping us with our population. Congratulations.
He talks about a lot of creative economy, but a lot of those people are also actually in the manufacturing business. It's often the artisan scale, but sometimes have people working for them too, building stuff. And
again, so that kind of goes back to this slide 20, which is figuring out how to get more Philadelphians in those jobs as well. I mean, when we talk about on the education side, we say, well, go to college. The reality is, of course, we understand that, college may not be for everyone, but learning is for everyone. And you have to figure out what is that new skill set, what does that change for you that's going to allow you to be able to go into that plant. I mean, this is not like 50 years ago and you just kind of show up and do what everyone else does. Very sophisticated equipment, very technical, some dangerous. If you can't read the instructions, you're going to hurt yourself or hurt someone else. And so, there's a tour of a plant. They make the piping for conduit, fencing, cyclone fences, and all this other kind of stuff, the tubing that goes around windows, major manufacturing here in Philadelphia. I believe they supply pretty much all the product east of the Mississippi. That's in Philadelphia. I mean, they're doing a fantastic job up there. 3 shifts of workers, every color under the rainbow, folks making money, and it's happening here in Philadelphia. And I mean, manufacturing is still a significant industry here in the city, and those are great jobs too.
Yeah, last week, I mean, we all hear about Tasty Cake. Last week I was out at Amoroso Bakery out in West Philly, and it's a major league operation.
Yeah.
Takes you back to the cheesesteaks.
To go back to the cheesesteaks. They didn't say anything about putting tofu in cheesesteaks either, but
Okay.
we'll get past that. Yeah. So a couple of we won't go into these in a lot of detail, but a couple of case studies to demonstrate a couple of points. Flip the slide. Okay. So this first one about Honey Park. Honey Park, interesting case study because here's a piece of real big-time Philadelphia industrial might, bud plant, making rail cars all over the place. They don't exist anymore. And this thing has become a kind of geographic hole in the donut between a lot of neighborhoods, East Falls, Lower Germantown, Tioga, and they never get to join. So it's partly a story of opportunism. We had the great good fortune, actually through you, Mayor, when you were council member, to get the Croc Center situated in this place, which is, I think, going to make good, is already and will continue to make an enormous difference. So there's an opportunity. A plan by the Planning Commission involving all of those neighborhoods and a coalition that the neighborhoods formed amongst themselves to help guide what a plan ought to look like. And now the result is assistance in getting the Tasty Cake site sold so that it could be redeveloped as the thing that they all wanted, which was first and foremost a supermarket. We've got Jeff Brown ShopRite under lease will be moving ahead, site's being cleared. So what we're seeing is the net effect of a good piece of opportunity combined with a lot of work in planning and in commerce, and actually directly through my chief of staff, Brian Flanagan, to help facilitate a set of transactions that are now leading to the right thing happening. We now see other businesses that are showing up that are wanting to sort of use some of these old industrial buildings, and discussions are now moving forward about, a better future for some of the SEPTA land that they don't use, certainly the EPI site that needs to be reconsidered once the juvenile detention center is out of there. I think it's a really good example of multiple agencies creating a vision and a guideline.
Right. Go through a fantastic revitalization. Croc Center helped to start it, but Baker Square is going to do a tremendous job of that.
Yeah, I think so too. At both a different scale and for somewhat different reasons, Central Delaware we'll know about. So what's the lesson there? I mean, here's this vast, it's not just the Central Delaware, and you come around the whole, just follow the rivers. We have a lot of former industrial sites that were part of our riverfront economy that dates back to colonial times. The Central Delaware, the subject of numerous vision statements, public-private partnerships, a new master plan, and mostly, I think, an agency that was reorganized specifically to sort of take the stewardship of this thing and drive it and make it happen. So I think it's a great example of we need, whether it's organizations and ultimately individuals, to push these things. And which one are you pointing to?
The last one.
Okay.
The timeline there.
Yeah, a little bit of order.
So that is a lot of order, thanks. But the need to push these plans to get them into realization, and it's something that you heard really through the OBS side and through Fran. We need people who can basically take a subject, whether it's a business sector that Curtis is dealing with, or kind of a single source to talk to at licenses and inspection. Same thing is true sort of at the commerce level, where we need project managers to basically guide these things, not just through our regulatory system, but actually to help push them into being. These projects in a bad economy don't happen by themselves. They happen because we prod them into existence. That's what the Waterfront Corporation does in Central Delaware. That's what my office has helped do in Honey Park. And we're going to talk about this again in a minute, but if you go into the next slide, it was sort of another interesting example, more neighborhood-based. We've got a number of commercial corridors in Resurgence. Baltimore Avenue is a good example, where there's a whole host of services that run through the Office of Neighborhood Economic Development under, again, Kevin and Karen Fagley. Local knowledge of the businesses, coordinating with Curtis's operation, streetscape improvements, greenery improvements, coordination with both streets and water, technical assistance to corridor managers. This is all offered through commerce in districts throughout the city, and Baltimore Avenue is a great example of where we're seeing real success. The resurgence of what historically had been a strong commercial corridor got kind of on the ropes, was actually my old commercial corridor for many years. It's just fantastic to see. And I think you pointed out earlier, Mayor, fueled in a very large part by West African immigrant community.
Absolutely.
Right. Strong focus on business, but also, I mean, it's a section that is quite international, and not just African or Haitian or Caribbean. It is quite multinational out there, and growing. that 48th, 49th, 50th, coming up from where around 43rd or 44th, where Baltimore splits into I think that's Springfield.
Springfield.
That whole section on up through about 51st, and then we were
52nd.
out, but now 52nd with the used to be a church, and it's now going to be the food.
The co-op program.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
exactly.
$3 operation, yeah.
No, this was a co-op over on Baltimore Avenue. The Culinary Center is another project up there.
Oh, okay, yeah, right.
Market East,
Okay. Put the slide over. Okay.
great challenge.
Market East is one of those crazy places that should be fantastic and is not, through a whole assortment of reasons. I think the big point about Market East is that it's a different set of initiatives that are needed from the public sector. We did a plan. The plan is exactly right about what the pieces are, which we said, look, they're all there. And there's Chinatown over here, Reading Terminal Market, one of the second largest transit node in the United States, Jefferson University Hospital. It's all there, but it's all 400 feet away.
Yes,
On either
it's all around it.
Yeah, it's like around it, it's not there. And we just said, we need to sort of pull those things up to Market Street and give them presence. So, something, and of course, at one end you have Independence and several million visitors. At the other end you have the convention center and a very sort of healthy convention tourist sort of business. And in between, we've got behavior problems, we've got bad stores, we've got buildings that aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. And we're only talking about 5-6 blocks. It's kind of crazy.
It is, it's just one of the most challenging. It's an exciting challenge to have to deal with. It is, and there's no reason that this should continue to exist in this sad form. Between 11th and 6th or 7th should be one of the most exciting and dynamic areas of the city of Philadelphia. Hotels, convention center, the market, other activity down through, I guess, the 1101 or ARA building. And after that, both sides of that street are a complete mess. One is, this grand testament to, how high and how much cement can you pour to have, blank walls that are just completely intimidating, and the other side of the street is just, I don't know, some conglomeration of whatever.
Hole in the ground.
Again, this would be the time, given the plans, given the Philly Rising over there, given what we're trying to do with Market East. If someone was looking for a place to invest from a commercial standpoint, I couldn't think of a better place to be looking. But we're going to have to be very strong, very focused, very strategic in how we turn that around and truly make a great connection between the east side of City Hall down through 12th or 11th Street, and then make that next jump to, it's the most historic square mile in the United States of America. The challenge is, getting from 12th Street to 6th Street. We need to just be